Welcome to the Jobs and Work podcast. If you're like most Americans, you spend a significant amount of your time working. In fact, we spend more time at our jobs than anywhere else. But how often do we really talk about work in America? On this podcast, the Work for Change team will. Work for Change, LLC is a team of social scientists, thought leaders, and digital storytellers who dig into the critical issues affecting American workers and workplaces today. Our podcast is co-hosted by Dr. Kendra Jason and myself, Dr. Chris Maycumber. We'll also bring guests onto the show who reflect the diversity of the American workforce. We are so excited for you to join us as we lead the efforts to humanize the workplace by building dignity and equity into jobs, work, and organizations. Please subscribe to the podcast and share us with your friends and family. You can learn more about Work for Change at workforchangellc.com.
Hello, and welcome to episode 33 of the Jobs and Work with Work for Change podcast. Today, I am so excited to have special guest, Ohavia Phillips. Welcome to our podcast.
Oh my goodness, Kendra, I want to say thank you so much for letting me pull up, first of all, live from my office with a whole new career out here. God is good. But right. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for letting me be here for real.
Awesome. So we have a lot to talk about, but I want to first read O's bio, and I'll tell you one thing. So O gave me a short and a long bio, and this is typical, right? So people, and I am actually going to read her long bio. It won't take very long because I think you really need to understand who we have on this podcast today, right? So just give me 1 second. So Ohavia is in Charlotte, North Carolina, by way of Brooklyn, and she is one of a kind. Her charisma, infectious personality, and warmth make her a favorite in any circle. She is a successful media personality, activist, author, and impactor around the entire city of Charlotte, and she is a thriving talk show host of her own show, The O Show. So she has a citywide campaign called #LeadWithLoveAmazing. Through her clean graffiti art on the streets of Charlotte to a billboard near Uptown, the campaign calls for communities to create safe spaces for authentic discussions around racial justice and to serve communities. Yeah. She was awarded the 2021 Best Influencer of Charlotte, Praise 100.9 Black Girl Magic, Media Maven of Charlotte, as well as being highlighted in many multimedia platforms from social media to television to print. She loves people and connecting with #Amazing and impactful individuals to impact communities. Her slogan is, "I'm ready to serve," and she does just that. And so thank you again. So let me just start by this because Ohavia doesn't know this, but
so, look, Kendra, I'm
I know, no, it's not you won't no big surprises.
No, I know.
But, I was telling right before we started today that, for those of you who've been following me, thank you so much. We started this podcast back in January when Work for Change was launched, and we've had, a slew of guests on here. And typically those guests are someone that I know, a friend, someone I know from back home, they have a business, or I think they're a really interesting person. I want to share their story. Well, Ohavia is the first person what you call cold contacted. So basically what that means, this woman didn't know me from a can of paint, okay? But I saw a story in a Charlotte magazine that she was highlighted on, and her story jumped off the page. Like when I read her story, I was like, oh my God, I don't know her, but I really want to get to know her, and I want her story. I want a platform for her story through Work for Change, through my media communication. And when I emailed her, her immediate response was like, yes. And I was like, wow, and so number one, I just want to thank you for that, for just, I know you do your research, but, I'm really just appreciative of that, and just knowing that I can, broaden my reach, and I can touch people who didn't know me before, and they say yes. I think that's really powerful. So I just
Yeah.
want to thank you for that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, Kendra. And I think often about like when I was broadening my reach, literally in the middle of a pandemic, Dr. Eric Thomas said yes to me. And he taught me a very valuable lesson.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, yo, listen, like a yes can change somebody's whole life and it can also change yours. So shout out to Dr. Eric Thomas for teaching me that first. And that's why I'm able to always do it for other people.
Yep.
Always will. Always. Always.
All right. Thank you. So O is a social media, that's social media. You're a media maven. I don't want to restrict you to social media because you're all over the place. So can you tell us a bit about the O Show and your general platform and how you came to be who you are today?
Yes. So the O Show is my baby. Actually, in the new year, we are having a name change. So same baby, just a different name. So we're going from the O Show LLC to Beautiful People with Ohavia Phillips as a network. Very excited to be elevating in such a way. A little nervous, Kendra, I'm not going to lie. But, that it was birthed from a lot of trials and tribulations. I'm not going to lie to you. So for those who don't know, I got my start into local television news. And I thought that was it for me. I was like, okay, I'm going to be your favorite anchor woman. I'm going to cover all of the like major headlines, all of the really big stories. And I'm just going to commit my life to television, local news. But God had a different plan. And so after about 4 years, I started feeling a change. I started feeling different. But of course, if we stay on the topic of like work and just like finding purpose, I started feeling different, Kendra. I'm not gonna lie. I think the straw that broke the camel's back, I think how I knew I was meant to be an activist, how I knew I was meant to pull up for community is covering the Keith Lamont Scott police officer involved shooting. And so taking y'all back to 2016, I just remember how the world went up, but particularly how Charlotte went way up. And I noticed how global media outlets kind of framed the way the city was, but we didn't frame it. And so I said, you know what? I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I really don't like how it feels. I also don't like how my particular station that I was at, I felt like there was ways that we could have done it. We could have involved ourselves differently. So I approached my boss and I said, listen, I want to do this my way. I feel like the community has something to say. I don't need to be the one to say it, they do. And I'll never forget this. He said, listen, Ohavia, this is news. You got to get your emotions out of this. And I was like, no, emotions is what gives passion. It's what people feel. And so what I did was I took that conversation, and that was the last conversation I had with my boss. Then in October 2018, I decided to take that leap of faith and quit my job in TV news and pursue purpose. Didn't know what it would look like. Didn't know we would be here with my own talk show and all the things, but I'm glad I did. Glad.
Awesome. Oh my God. It's so much there. It just reminds me too, I had a similar situation with starting my business. I was already, I think, you probably know too, there were already like, seeds and crumbs leading you to this path. And then you had this one conversation. I did a similar thing, like at my place of employment. I was going up for a promotion. I had done everything that I was supposed to do, everything that was written. And I was talking to my boss, and we were talking about going up from a promotion. And I basically asked if I was in a good position. And he said, well, it's the way he said it. And then I said right then, I was like, I can no longer live by the whim of other people's decisions. Right. And so it was just one of those things where I was just like, I understand his position. He's speaking on behalf of the company or whatever, but I know who I am, and I know how I prepared. And I know the story that I have. And when he said that, well, it just let me realize that I could not really, I don't think anybody else could really appreciate what I have to offer.
That's good.
So I had to build my own platform, and it'll be what it is, right? Like you said, in your journey, like I've watched Ohavia, so we have her social media handles below. And one thing she's great at is posting videos as well, giving you a background on her show, giving you a background on what she's doing. But sometimes you talk about the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations and the hard decisions and the uncertainty, and all of that is a part of it. But also you get to live fully in who you are and actualize it in a way. So can you talk about that a little bit? I love how you use your platform for positivity. So
Yes.
can you talk about that just a bit?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Kendra, thank you so much for asking me this question. Like, this is like, mwah, chef's kiss. And it's one of my favorite topics. So thank you so much for like even seeing me in that way. I thank you. You're so valuable. But literally, like, I remember coming up in the media game and I was like, I don't want to be a gossip blog. I don't want to be, can I keep it 100 with the, with the work family? Like I came up in the game and I said, I don't want to be a gossip blog. I don't want to be anybody that puts people's personal business on public platforms. I can't sleep at night. I'm not made to be that woman. And so finding my way through this media thing, it took me some while, not even gonna lie. So I went from crawling, trying to figure out, okay, who does Ohavia want to be?
Right.
Then we went from crawling to kind of like, okay, we're standing up a little bit. Okay, I know who I am. So now, out of ensuring and knowing who I am, being assured about that, here's the media I want to create. And by the time, sis, we was running, I already knew. And so I think the biggest thing for anybody watching who wants to be in media, or you are in media, or you are in business, your brand, your personality, wherever you fall, it's all the same. Never put on for your brand. Your brand is who you already are.
Yep.
So Kendra, I just remember thinking like, okay, well, what's natural? And it's like, wait a minute, why am I asking myself what's natural? It's who I am.
You are,
And so naturally, I am an extremely positive person. I'm somebody who loves people. I love seeing people win. But another thing about me is I love having conversations. I could talk, Kendra. You hear me? I could talk and I could listen to people talk and I won't get tired. So I said, wait a minute, that's actually an old art that is missing in media. The last time we've seen that kind of art in media is Oprah, circa 89, right? Ayanna Vincent, she kills that. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, you could count on a few hands and maybe a few toes, people still in the game that take the time to sit, do the 60 minutes, do the digging, do the research. So I said, you know what, that's who I want to be. And that's what we're going to bring back is positive media content with impactful conversations. And so, you know, that kind of media, though, it takes a while because it's not microwave media. It's not popcorn media. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn the OGs in the game. You got to learn about things. You got to research. And so I said, you know what, I don't care how long it takes. I'd rather have a solid foundation than a shaky show. So I decided, So I decided to take my time with it. From about 2018 to 2020, I just spent, you know, doing a lot of pro bono, doing a lot of research. And then in 2020, in the middle of a pandemic, my brand just blew up. I said, not in a panorama. Sis, in the middle of in the middle of a pandemic, not to mention I got COVID myself, right? And so all of these trials and tribulations brought up old things, old feelings, and in the midst, there was growth. So that's where we are today. Now I'm blessed to be talking to you today.
Oh my God, you said so much there too, because, oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. Let me see, where am I gonna start here? So number one thing I know, so your current show, like I said, I know you're you know, always building ideas coming to fruition, but it's a beautiful set.
Yes.
And like you said, what I love about it was so different now is that you do a full hour plus of content. You give people time to tell their stories. You give your guests time to engage with one another. You give time and space for people to breathe and reflect. And like, when I'm thinking about the TV shows that are, you know, a lot of TV shows, they get translated to like YouTube clips, right? And you know, it's like your favorite celebrity or your favorite motivational speaker is on somebody's show and they have like 6-minute block. And you're just like, oh, they have so much to give, and it's like it's fun. But you're right. It's like the popcorn they used to call the USA Today version of the news, right? It's just a little
seriously
the little snippet. So again, I think that's really brave too, because what you have to have confidence in is that people will be patient, right? And that people will shift gears from this really quick, like you said, popcorn media into like sitting down and relaxing and like taking their time,
taking it in.
And I really appreciate that platform. I really do.
Thank you so much, sis, for real. Thank you.
Yep. And another thing you said that I really, really resonate with too, and again, it's messaging that you have on several media platforms, is just to be consistent and
Yes.
to be yourself. And this is, so one of the things that I do with Work for Change is I have a starting your own business workshop. And in this, I just try to help mostly women, honestly. I mean, maybe it's a reflection of my networks, but women and Black women are the number one like emerging business entrepreneurs that's known nationally right now, right?
Yes.
And so, the message that I give is that you have to make your business you. Like, if you want to bake bread, that's fine. Don't worry about the aisle of baked bread there, because it's gonna be your bread, that's your specialty, that's your brand. So you just got to figure out you in it. You don't have to represent anybody or be anybody else. And what you said that was so powerful, and what I can testify to myself, is that just being yourself and being authentic is what will attract people.
Literally.
And all you have to do is be consistent. And it's just, oh my God, talking to my husband yesterday, I said, I had a plan for my business, but I didn't really have expectations, because you just don't know.
When I tell you yes.
And now I was like, I knew the business was going to be successful. I didn't know it's going to be this successful. So now I'm just trying to
look, it's like,
right. And like you, all of it happened in 2020. So it's just like you said, with so much tragedy happening in 2020 with COVID-19. You even got, thank God you're okay, COVID-19 yourself. There was also an opportunity for growth, expansion, and all that.
So true, sis.
So what's next for you? Like, we're going into 2022, so let's frame it in that way. What would you like to share with us in advance?
Yes, absolutely. So very, very excited about 2022. Kendra, not even gonna lie, my good sis. Like, I'm excited about, well, first and foremost, definitely the rebranding, thinking on a more global scale. So taking Charlotte with me everywhere I go, taking my hometown, Brooklyn, New York, with me everywhere I go. Also taking my continents with me, as an Afro-Latin woman, I identify as Afro-Latin. We got them Jamaican roots, we got them Costa Rican roots, and we got Colombian roots. So literally, I'm just taking all of what God has blessed me with, my story and my honesty. And I look so forward, Kendra, to just taking it and letting it be for change. You know what I'm saying? So a rebrand of the name. Also very excited. I look forward to Stacey Abrams' talk. If you're not in the Charlotte area, I'm pretty sure you'll still be able to see it. But on November 17th, Stacey Abrams will be here at Charlotte. Very honored and excited to moderate and just be amongst somebody that I am not only very inspired by, but also she has a hand in the reason why I do the work that I do. You know, she's on the front line, and that's gold. But also just very, very excited about life and, just showing the world, especially the next generation, that positive media content can go viral, and we can all do this content, right? It's not just Ohavia that's the positive multimedia maven. No, literally there are other young ladies out there. I believe there are other young men out there. I think that they just have to see that it's real, so that they can, go and just go far and wide and reach. So 2022, let me tell you, Kendra, this is about to be a movie. You hear me? Right. I'm talking Emmy winning, Pulitzer Prize winning. It's gonna be
right. And it's so interesting. I think that should be, or I think that will be the story for so many people, because 2020, like, if I think about the stories that I hear from so many people, 2020 was a time of invention and rebirth and taking time and reevaluating. 2021, people were walking it out. They were like, oh, okay, let me put this together. This is happening. You kind of got your grip. And then 2022, it's like, for those of you who have your own businesses, or you're working on projects or community, I think this fourth quarter of 2021 has been explosive.
Absolutely.
All these opportunities start coming, and people start reaching out to you. And another thing, I love what you just said. Was when you're authentic and you're walking in your purpose, some people make lists. Great, make your list. But you know what? You have no idea who that's going to put you in a room with, right? You can make a list, and that list will be so much greater than than what you even envision. Like, you know, I love people, you know, you do vision boards, do your list, do your journaling, do whatever you need to do to keep you on track and to monitor. But if you just stay consistent, if you just believe in yourself,
yes,
then those things they will happen. They will happen for you. It's awesome. So let me ask you, because I know me and you can look, y'all don't know, we already talked before this, before the podcast.
We like to talk. I like to talk.
So let me ask you this. You know, I think your life, you know, your story is one, like I said, I just had to offer a platform, another platform for you to reach people, you know, and I know that someone will grab so much from this story, but for what advice do you have for anyone who is sort of thinking about the next thing, a little hesitant about the next thing, a little bit nervous? What advice would you have for them for moving forward?
Yes. Well, first things first is I want to tell that person, I see you. I've been there and I get it. There's been so many times. You know what's funny too, Kendra, is, you know, people see me now and they're like, oh, she got it going on, yada, yada, boom, boom, boom. But like, if y'all knew the half, like, let's talk about how I went to college and didn't even know, you know, what major I wanted to be. I changed 3 times. Let's talk about how when I was in high school, my GPA wasn't the best. Let's talk about how even when I went to college, you know what I'm saying? I'm the first in my family to like see a 4-year degree all the way through. I grew up in a household with both of my parents. You know, they kept their hand to the plow. Mom was an RN and dad worked at like DHL and packaging and all that. And you know what I'm saying? So to put in perspective, the platform is a blessing, but don't get distracted by the lights and the smoke and all of that. Like, remember the purpose. So the advice that I would have for that person is, you ain't crazy and you are normal. You're not crazy. You're normal. Some of your favorites, if you really got a chance to sit down and ask them, they would tell you, I ain't know either, right? So I think that is so important. And Kendra, I love what you said in the beginning, and I'm going to steal it, sis. It's so important for you to follow the breadcrumbs. I cannot stress that enough. And when you start seeing breadcrumbs pile in a certain direction, pay attention to that.
Right.
Like, for real, like, because I think along my journey, I was just going. And there was one part in my life where I was like, wait a minute, why is this always going this way? So then I was like, okay, let me, you know, and next thing you know, media company is being built, interviewing some of the world's most beautiful people. And we ain't even for real yet, right? So So I just would like to encourage everybody that is watching, not crazy. You are called, you are chosen, your voice is valuable, your business is necessary. And I don't care if, you know, somebody's doing the same thing you're doing. First of all, you know how many cereals there are in the aisle? You know how many like products we wear, press-on nails, you know what I'm saying? Coffee cups. The bottom line is nobody does it like you. And the goal is not to find the contrast between you and the next person, but to find the contrast within yourself, make sure you're aligned so you could go forth in your authenticity. So you're not crazy, you got it. Listen, just follow the pattern, follow your own breadcrumbs and bake a bread. Bake a bread and get this bread.
Love how we just did that.
I lash up to the camera, I'll be like.
So now y'all see, can you see how her story jumped off the page to me in the magazine? Like, come on. Now you can also book Ohavia. I saw on your website. If you want Ohavia on your show, you want her to talk to an audience that you have, please reach out to her. Her social media handles are below. And another thing, for those people who are, you know, looking for the next thing, I do have a starting your own business workshop. The next one is coming up on November 20th. It's a 2-part workshop. All the information is on the website. So please, I help you figure out who you are in your business before we build the business plan. And then I help you build a business plan. So it's all there for you. So again, Ohavia, thank you so much. I'm sure this is just our first introduction. I mean, we tethered together now. Like, I don't know where you think you're going, but I'm going with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kendra. Thank y'all. Thank you for your time, family.
Thank you. So for my normal followers, please follow. Oh, if you're new to Work for Change, my social media handles are below. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and of course you found us here on YouTube. So please like, subscribe, and share so we can work to make the world of work better.